Hello members and welcome to the second edition of GPL 360. I'm here with CEO Matthew Loughnane and we're just going to go through the men's round 4, 5 and 6 and also the women's round 2, 3, 4 and 5. We've had a little bit of feedback on the show and we're just going to do a bit of a revised format. Me and Matt have selected one match each and then we're going to run down through the rest of the matches. So for round 4 of the men, my selected match was the Polishers. 152 defeated the Rat Pack, 147. The stars for the Polishers was Ian Stewart with a massive 44 points and Rob Simonson on 40, with Brian Fuge for the Rat Pack on 38. My match, Nick, was the mid-table contest of KGC Elite, last year's grand finalists, versus Motley Crue. KGC Elite 148 defeated Motley Crue 145. Stars for KGC Elite, Ian Chard, great score, 43 points. John Knox lifted from an early bake by us with 38 points. Motley Crue, Vince Piccolo, 40 points, and Russell Burton with 36 was the best for Motley Crue. The other matches in the round, we had Once Were Legends comfortably defeating the Gunners 138 to 117. The Guzzlers, my favourite side, 145, defeated Moondogs 139. The Latecomers 148 defeated the Good, the Bad and the Ugly 131. Good to see the Latecomers finally getting a win on the board. Yes, it is good. Yes, true. Norfolk Good 133 defeated the Fockers. Good names, both teams, 125. And Hard Yakka, last year's Bolters 149 defeated the Gentlemen Golfers 142. In round 4, the knockout competition, the side that was knocked out for round 4 was the Gunners with 117. The Gunners are struggling, knocked out, and they are sitting on bottom of the ladder. Yep, yet to win a game. Need to lift. In round 5, my selected match was the Gentlemen Golfers 149 defeated the Fockers 143. The Gentlemen Golfers were led by Russell Bradshaw with a massive, it's actually Randall Bradshaw. Randall Bradshaw with
Russell's brother.
Yeah, with a massive 46 points, led from the front. The Fockers, Barry Donnelly 39, Peter Luton 38, but the Gentlemen Golfers were too good. Yep, and my match, after a slow start, the Latecomers 138 defeated Hard Yakka 137. With the stars for the Latecomers was Ray Catmull with 38 points. John Doggett is got on the board with 35. Hard Yakka were well represented by Jeff Dwyer with 36 and John Price 35. I did see Graham Freestone, last year's MVP, snuck in with 34, so he started quite well. And surprising that the Latecomers were the ones that delivered Hard Yakka their first loss for the season. Yes. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? They're starting to lift. Other matches for the round, we had the Polishers 139 defeated Once Were Legends 124. Rat Pack 138 defeated the Guzzlers 129. A close one, Motley Crue 132 defeated the Gunners 129. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly 139 defeated the Moondogs, who are struggling with 118. Norfolk Good 138 defeated KGC Elite. And the knockout this week was the Moondogs 118. Speaking of the Moondogs, we will go to their captain now, Chris Hansen. We filmed this a bit earlier and Chris will go through what kind of problems that the Moondogs are having at the moment.
Well, Nick, you know, we're a very high profile group of individuals and a lot of our members have been on international road trips and we've been struggling to get a game on the park, so a full team. So that accounts for our dodgy performance so far, I think, in general.
Would you like to name any names, Chris, or happy to just leave it as a few high profile men?
Well, one person I would like to name is Brendan Moore, who is not in our team, but he was good enough to buy us in the auction, and he spent a lot of money buying us because he had a high opinion of us. And so, you know, apologies to Brendan really for us being eliminated and cut at this point, and it looks as though you've done your dough, Brendan. Sorry about that.
Well, that's very good. Chris, we appreciate you coming on this week's edition of GPL 360 and good luck for the rest of the season.
No worries, Nick. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Chris. Moving on to round 6, the featured matches. My match was the Polishers versus the Guzzlers. The Polishers, up until round 6, hadn't lost a game. Last year's premiers up against the Guzzlers, who were mid-table. Guzzlers got over the line with a great performance, 129 versus 126. For the Guzzlers, Mark Hanger, 34, and Phil Baker and Sam Conlon with 32 was enough to get them over the line. Brendan Moore was the best for the Polishers with 34, and Shane Favalora with 32.
My match for round 6 was a tight one, with the Moondogs finally lifting 136, defeating Hard Yakka 135. For the Moondogs, we had Ray Kennedy on 36 and Kemp Robinson 34, led from the front, and Hard Yakka, Peter Myers 35, Max Hardy 34, and Graham Freenstone, just consistent all season, had a 34 again. Other matches, Matt?
Other matches, we had Once Were Legends keeping their finals hopes alive with a 141 defeat over Motley Crew, 138. Rat Pack, 146. Graham Craig, we highlighted him in the earlier show, 40 points, defeated the Good, the Bad, the Ugly, 134. Norfolk and Good, 139, defeated the Cellar Dwellers, the Gullers, the Gunners, 116. Gentlemen Golfers had lifted from last year. They had a big score, 143, defeated KGC Elite, 137. And the Fockers defeated the Latecomers, 142 to 133. Big surprise with the team that was knocked out in week 6 with the champs, the Polishers, getting knocked out with a score of 126.
Shane Favalora was quite happy that in the e-news that I referred to them as a league powerhouse. This could be possibly a bit of a form slump and opportunities for lower ranked teams to take out the Polishers.
Could have been a hit on some arrogance, yes.
Definitely. Mr. Consistent for the competition, we've got Havel Rowe from KGC Elite, has scored in every round and top scored twice. His scores read 35, 33, 36, 35, 31 and 34. And there's a golfer, Matt, I've got here that's on fire. Who have we got?
On fire, Frank Davis from the Gentlemen Golfers, who have got his side into the 6th position on the ladder. His last 3 rounds have been 42, 36 and 36. So Frank's doing a hell of a job.
Definitely, playing well. You might remember from episode 1, we did select a few guys that were under the pump. I have to admit, they haven't really improved. Chris Moot, last 3 rounds, did not score, and 21 points. Somehow got in as the 4th best score, so struggling there. Bob Davis, 33, followed by did not score. And Graham Craig, we can probably give a pass mark.
Yeah.
Did not score. Got in at number 4 on 30 points, and then obviously yesterday, 40 points, which gave the Rat Pack a win. Now, Matt, I see you've selected a couple of guys that through rounds 4, 5 and 6 have definitely been under the pump. Who have we got?
Probably our favourite segment for GPL 360, under the pump. The first player gives me, I hate to say it, but gives me a lot of pleasure actually, reading out his name. That's John Nelson from the Guzzlers. He's had scores of 32, 31, 30. John, stop focusing on the pies. Play some good golf. Greg Cribbies from the Fockers, probably the spokesperson for the Fockers and the GPL, really. Scores of 26, 26 and 28. Greg, you need to lift 2, mate.
No wonder he didn't want to come on to GPL 360 and talk about his team with scores like that.
Let's hope we can get John on one of the future episodes to talk about his game.
And we'll just go quickly through the table. Since the Polishers lost in round 6, they are no longer on top. We've got the Rat Pack, 5 wins, 1 loss. Polishers, 5 wins, 1 loss, 1 and 2. We've got 3 teams on 4 wins and 2 losses. Norfolk and Good, Hard Yakka and the Guzzlers. Quite a fair few teams on 3 wins. We've got the Gentlemen Golfers in the 6th, Motley Q, KGC Elite and Once Were Legends. And heading towards the bottom of the table now, the Fockers have won 2 and lost 4. Same for the Moondogs. The Latecomers,
I think they've won 2 of the last 3, haven't they, the Latecomers?
That is true, actually. They have last 2 rounds, 5 and 6. So good to see them moving from last to 12. So that's good progress.
Good.
The Good, Bad and Ugly, 1 win, 1 draw and 4 losses. And the Gunners are still yet to register a win. That does it for the men. We'll move on to the women now. Keeping with the same format, we'll just, once again, Matt will select a match and I'll select a match, and then we'll go through them accordingly. Take it away, Matt.
Okay, round 2 for the women's GPL. We had hit and miss, 127 were defeated by the Iron Ladies, 128. Hit and miss, Leonie Barnes and Bev Murray were the two best scores with 35 points and 33 points, while Jan Freestone and Barbara James with 41 points and 32 points for the Iron Ladies got them over the line.
Something in that name, Freestone. Seems to be a good GPL name.
It does. Good family.
My match of the round, we had a big win to the Q Ramblers. 146 defeated the Go Girls. 121. Couldn't get 4 women on the park. Janina Tucker top scored with 39, with Vice President of the Women, Anne English, had 37. And for the Go Girls, Margot Crilly tried her best with 34 points, but that was about it that I can say positively for the Go Girls. Other matches for the round, the Pearlers 125 in a close one defeated the QTs 124. The Swingers 132 defeated the Early Birds 128. The Silver Foxes 132 defeated last year's champions, the Birdie Num Nums 121, and a bit of a shock loss there, I didn't expect that. The Derwents, my Smoky for the season, have finally got a win on the board, 132 defeating the Q Birdies 122. And the Fairway Fillies had the bye this week. And lastly, the knockout, the Go Girls were knocked out with 121.
Moving on to round 3, starting with my pick at the start of the season, the Swingers taking on the Iron Ladies. Swingers kept their unbeaten season going with a strong win, 142 versus the Iron Ladies 133. Anne Manuel and Sue Lytle, the two best performers for the Swingers with 38 points each. And we had Judy Horskins and Jan Freestone with 40 and 37 points respectively for the Iron Ladies.
My match, we had the Go Girls bounce back from their loss last week, defeating the Birdie Num Nums, who have lost 2 in a row now. The Go Girls, Ann Evans, massive score of 41, did it for the Go Girls, and we had Liz Hondros, 35, and Susan Hughes, 31, trying to get the Birdie Num Nums back in it, but didn't quite get there.
Other matches, we had the Early Birds 108 defeat the Pearlers 79, QTs 124 defeat the Silver Foxes 117, the Q Birdies 80 defeated the Q Ramblers, quite a low scoring match, 80 to 79. The Fairway Fillies 122 defeated the Derwents 87, and the bye was hit and miss. The knockout for round 3 were the Q Ramblers with 79.
Couldn't expect to really stand a competition.
Not with 79. No, although they only missed out by 1 in their match.
That's true. My selected match round 4, we have the QTs defeating the Go Girls 128 to 121. Deg Hume top scored for the QTs. The very day before this round happened, she won A grade for the Rosanna Bowl and was the anchor for the Rosanna Bowl team, so well done Deg. Libby Forrest had 31, Helen Elliott 30, and Adeline Roberts 30. For the Go Girls, their captain Pauline Caven led from the front with 34, but unfortunately Go Girls have another loss. My match was the Q Ramblers defeating the Fairway Fillies 133 to 127. Q Ramblers, great score by Anne English, got them over the line with 43 points. And for the Fairway Fillies, 3 scores on 32 points, which was Brenda Alzaka, Sue Davies, and Sheena Kay. Other matches for the round were the Silver Foxes 116 defeated the Pearlers 113. The Early Birds 123 defeated the Iron Ladies 114. Birdie Num Nums broke their losing streak 133 defeated the Q Birdies 120. Hit and Miss 127 defeated the Derwents 114. And the league leaders, the Swingers, had the bye, and unfortunately for the Pearlers, they were knocked out of the knockout this week with 113.
Round 5, our last round of this episode, we had the Pearlers and the Iron Ladies have a draw, 139 each, with Jenny Cropley and our Canadian import, Kim Corcoran, with 36 points. The Iron Ladies was Sue Watson with 35, Kay Farmer 35, and Jan Freestone once again with 35.
My match, we had the Swingers 142 defeat the Derwents 124. The pennant players in the Swingers are proving to be too consistent this season. Libby Day 37, Sue Lytle 36, Anne Manuel 35, and Di Grail 34. The Derwents Angela Nicholas had 35 and Christine Howgate had 32, but unfortunately they went down by 18 points. And another fun one this week in round 5, the early birds had their best score of the season with 140, but unfortunately they had the bye.
Other matches for round 5, we had the Silver Foxes 137 defeat the Go Girls 129. QTs 129 defeat the Q Birdies 125. Birdie Num Nums, last year's champs, 134 defeat the Fairway Fillies 130. Hit and Miss, who were second on the ladder, 143 big score, defeated the Q Ramblers 129. And this week, with quite a good score of 124, unfortunately the Derwents were knocked out.
Before we move on to our pre-season predictions and the ladder, we'll just go to a special guest now. Okay, our special guest for the second episode of GPL 360 is Women's Committee Member, GPL Coordinator, Q Ramblers Captain. Is there anything I've missed out, Leonie Silk?
No, I think that's covered it all. Thank you, Nick.
No worries. Now, you're looking brown as ever. You've just got back from Thailand. How was it?
Thailand was beautiful. The resort was gorgeous. The golf was ordinary.
Okay, so you're going to have to come back and you're going to have to help out the Ramblers, who they've had a mixed season. You've had 3 wins and 2 losses. Do you just want to talk us through who's been playing well or what's been going on with the Ramblers?
Okay, well at this stage we've had 7 out of 8 contribute to our score, which is wonderful. The 8th person, Mary Viapon, will be back with us next week. Unfortunately, she's had a bit of a hiccup with her health.
Okay.
I don't think it's proper.
No. Best wishes to Mary. Hopefully she gets back.
So she'll be
soon.
back, but otherwise all 7 girls have really contributed. We've had one particularly outstanding score. Anne English had a 43 points.
43 in the 4th round.
I was
Very
away
impressive.
last week, so that was fabulous. We've had, a 37, but otherwise all 7 members have contributed so far, and they all wear their pink ball markers. We're very proud to be part of the team. Everyone wears pink every Tuesday, because we represent the Q Rambling Rose, which is a pink David Austin rose.
There you go. So now, would a lot of the members know that, do you reckon, or am I just a bit too young? And I'm probably...
No, I didn't know anything about the rose either. That was thank you to Karen Hill.
Ah, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Leanne, is there anything else you'd like to say about the Ramblers, or does that pretty much wrap everything up? Is there anything you want to say to your team, or do you want to say anything to the rest of the competition?
I would have said watch out if we were still on top of the ladder, but unfortunately we've slipped down to 5th place, and we have also been cut from the survivors, but I think the girls are enjoying the emails each week and enjoying being part of a team. So
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Leonie, thank you very much for coming on GPL 360, and good luck for the rest of the season.
thank you very much, Nick.
Okay, so before the season, I decided to attempt to make a few predictions. My selection for the Premier was Hit and Miss. I'm pretty happy with that. They're second on the ladder, 4 wins and 1 loss, only to be outdone by yourself, Matt.
Swingers picked them early, 5-zip on top of the ladder. They're going well.
Must be happy. My smoky were the Derwents. They are currently, technically they're coming last, only for the bye, so need them to lift a little bit. I'm a little bit disappointed in this selection. I had some misinformation from Janet Jacobson. Thought she was going to play well for this season, but she's had 33 for the first round and then did not score. Now I'm not sure if she was actually here for those rounds, but nevertheless, we'll need a wet sail.
It's a long way to go. She'll lift.
It is a long way. Hopefully she will lift. The knockout, my selection there was the early birds, they're still in, and my smoky with the birdie num nums, they're still in the knockout as well, despite having a few losses. And Matt, you've got some players that have been on fire in the women's.
Talking about the MVP, Anne English from the Q Ramblers, she's had scores of did not score 37, did not score 43, and did not score. So she either plays well or doesn't.
Yep.
So you don't want to get her on the week that she plays well. Sue Lytle from my selection, the Swingers, has been really solid with 31, 36, top score for the round, 38. Did not score on 36, so that's a good reason why the Swingers are on top.
Definitely.
Andrea Moore playing for Hit and Miss, who are currently second, also been really good. 36, 30, did not score 30 and 40.
Big score last week.
Hilary Hodgetts, who has scored for a team every week in the early birds, she's had 33, 32, 30, 30 and 34. And the last one is Brenda Alzaka for the Fairway Fillies. Once again, she scored all 5 rounds.
3 top scores.
3 top scores with 42, 36 and 32. Her other 2 scores were 35 and 30, so watch out.
She's got to be the tip for the MVP.
You would
so
think
far.
so. Fairway Fillies sitting comfortably in 3rd. Brenda is a good reason for why that's happening.
100%. And just going through the ladder, as we said, the Swingers are on top undefeated. Hit and miss in 2nd, 4 wins and 1 loss. Quite a backlog in 3rd. We've got the Fairway Fillies, the Early Birds, the Q Ramblers, the QTs, the Birdie Num Nums, and the Silver Foxes, all on 3 wins and 2 losses. Q Birdies sit on 9th position, the only team that has 2 wins and 3 losses. The remaining 4 teams have a little bit of work to do, and I think most of this is just due to the fact that they can't get a full team on the course each week.
Yep.
The Iron Ladies, the Go Girls, the Pearlers, and the Derwents all on 1 win.
So there's a big, there's only one game between really 13th and being back into finals contention, really, isn't there?
Exactly right. So a few of these teams can just get all ladies on the park playing well.
Mm-hmm.
This wraps up for episode 2 of GPL 360. Matt, thanks for coming on the show, and we'll do another one in approximately about 3 weeks, I reckon. Thanks, Nick. Cheers. Thanks Matt.